thoughts? Do you think that actually we need to be spending more money back here at home, less money over to Ukraine?
Well, that's a good question. I think the answer is, if I can sort of sit in the fence here, is we need to do both. Our support to Ukraine is vital at the moment because it is in the front line against a sort of revanchist Russia, which has territorial expansionist ambitions. At the same time, the British Armed Forces are severely under-equipped, too small, and just going onto the topic of the missile attack or mistake in Poland, Britain has no anti-ballistic missile defence at the moment, although there are plans to install it on our T-45 destroyers. So I think if we can manage both, that would be great.
Well, this is the problem, but it does seem, Stuart, as though this seems to be the answer to everything across every section of society when it comes to things like even like nurses' pay rises, more funding for the NHS, more funding for rail unions, or let's just do it all. And actually, we haven't necessarily got all of that money. Hamish, I'll throw it over to you now. I think it's becoming an increasingly hard sell, rightly or wrongly, to the British public who are feeling the pinch. Tax rises expected en masse tomorrow, when they see money being sent over to Ukraine, with Putin, seemingly, maybe anyway, in retreat.
Well, that might be true, Patrick, but I would turn it the other way as well. Are we spending enough? A lot of the cost of living crisis, a lot of inflation is caused directly by what's happening in Ukraine. The price of fuel before Putin illegally invaded Ukraine back in February was $1.45 a gallon. I paid $1.90 a gallon yesterday. Imagine what would happen to the cost of living crisis and inflation if we went back to $1.45 a gallon. Also, food. Ukraine is producing so much food that's now stuck there. The result of that is the price of food is going up. And to use another footballing analogy, as the Director General of MI5 has just used, if we are not helping fight in Ukraine, and also we don't have naval ships on the high seas interdicting terrorists, it's like playing football with just a goalie. So I agree with Stuart. We actually need to do both things, and we need to consider whether we're spending enough money on it, because in the longer term, things will get worse rather than get better.
Well, I understand that. Stuart, I'll give you another say on this now, because to use another footballing analogy, you know, it's a team game, and we look at the amount of money that we've spent. I mean, initially, Germany, I think, sent some pretty much just like rainbow-coloured helmets early doors, didn't they? Whereas we were actually sending genuine weapons. I'm sure the people of Ukraine initially were very, very pleased about that. But we have contributed billions and billions and billions, second only to the United States, last time I checked. And isn't it time that some of these other nations picked up?
Well, it's absolutely true in absolute terms that we're second only to the United States in terms of the value of support and weaponry and munitions to Ukraine that we have given. But if you do it on the basis of percentage of GDP, then the UK is only sixth in the contributor list, and the USA is actually seventh. And the Baltic nations, Poland, and believe it or not, Norway, are ahead of us in terms of what we're contributing. But just to going back to some of the points already been made, we have to keep doing this. And it looks as if some sort of taxation rise might be the only way of achieving what we're trying to do.
And this is the problem, right? And this is central to our discussion, because tomorrow we're expecting that we're all going to get clobbered. Initially, maybe we weren't under Liz Truss, but of course we couldn't possibly go for growth, and now we've got to go for skint instead. But, Hamish, everyone cares more about what's going on in their own country and in their own backyard. And there have been serious questions as to whether or not necessarily all of the money we're sending to Ukraine is indeed going to the front line and on defence. And do we actually know where all of our money is going?
Well, I think we're pretty certain, actually. I think the British operation into Ukraine is very complex and also is very rigorous. Just remember, we're just a misjudgment, miscalculation, or something else away from a disaster and escalation. The missile attack, which you covered earlier on, could have turned into an escalation if we had misjudged it or leapt to conclusions too early. So I'm sure the people of this country understand that. And remember, Putin's also threatened nuclear attack, and that could have a profound effect across the globe. So we need to do everything we can to de-escalate to end this war as quickly as possible and prevent Putin reaching for that red button, be it a tactical nuclear weapon or even blowing up one of the nuclear power stations that he threatens to do almost on a weekly basis.